definitely.
It's a roller coaster. But when you're working from a spiritual perspective, bringing in all four pillars of health, you can actually enjoy the roller coaster.
You're listening to the One Man Business Podcast, brought to you by Rod Fancy. Everything you need to know to run your own show.
Welcome to One Man Business Podcast. I'm Rod Fancy. I'm a web designer, and I have here with me. She's not only career life, she's a coach, she's also a spiritual coach. And I love it. I've been working with her one-on-one. She does one-on-one. She runs workshops and events. And she uses multiple tools. She uses like coaching techniques, tarot cards, mediumship, and spiritual work. I have here with me Joy Wisdom.
Thank you so much, Rod, for that wonderful introduction. I am excited to be here with you today, and I am ready to talk.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm super excited. This podcast is for solopreneurs, made by solopreneurs. We're both solopreneurs, so definitely know what I'm talking about. It's
Absolutely.
Hard, right?
Absolutely. It is a lifestyle, and it's a lifestyle that is made better if we have a holistic and spiritual approach to it.
Yes. You know, as many things in life, I think if you have like a sport, it's much easier. And I think entrepreneurship is it's a journey, and you have to be consistent. You have to be keep motivated, and try to find those answers. And it's most of the time is daunting. Like you're not believing in yourself and all those kind of things. And I think the spiritual side helps a lot. And I personally really like those things. I want people to know, how can you help with those tools, using those tools? How does it work?
Yes, Rod. Let me start with the four pillars of health. And the four pillars of health, as we know, is the physical body, it's the emotional body, it's the mental aspect, plus what is often forgotten is the spiritual aspect.
It is a pillar, of course.
It's a pillar of health. It's the foundation. Yes, a triangle is good, but a foundation of four pillars is much more solid. Yeah. And that's kind of the principle that I start working out of. Often a solo entrepreneur often have that need to do the business they're doing. They have the passion. They have all of that going for them. So they are often mentally very ready when they start out. But as they are running their businesses, they get tired. They find a lot of issues once they have started because, as you said, it's a very interesting journey. And it can be difficult if you don't have the right attitude and the right positive spiritual support to navigate yourself through all of these. I would say the roller coaster of solo entrepreneur.
It's a roller coaster, definitely.
It's a roller coaster. But when you're working from a spiritual perspective, bringing in all four pillars of health, you can actually enjoy the roller coaster.
Yeah, I think different from, this is my opinion, but different from 9 to 5 kind of jobs, which is a nightmare. And a roller coaster has it's scary, but good moments as well.
Yes.
Fun. It's fun.
Yes,
so I prefer that.
And that is my principle, because joy is not my given name; it is my chosen name.
Oh, that's cool.
Chose joy because of the high frequency, high vibration, magical component of what joy brings to the table. Because joy is something you can have when you have all four pillars of health: the spiritual, the mental, the emotional, the physical. When all of those balances out, joy is an internal experience, and it's not the external. Because let's say that you had a client order that got screwed up, okay? Stress, external pressure, all of those things. And you start the negative self-talk, and you get frustrated and off the roller coaster, and suddenly the wagon just keeled over and something really went bad. But if you have balance within yourself in that moment, and you just trust that you are going to make the best of this, that this is a learning experience that's going to take your business to the next level. Unfortunately, this was a kick in the face or, a punch in the back, which is really the opposite, isn't it? It's supposed to be a kick in the butt or a punch in the face. Yeah. But it's the attitude that you go in to solve the problem that makes the difference. So if you have joy within, you have a foundation of dealing with the problem as they come. If you have a trust that the universe got your back, what you can deal with is so much bigger and so much more than if you are running around like a squirrel. Yeah. Just reacting to the external factors
and like
of your
bitter
business.
or like stress, right? I think positivity, when you are just positive, there's some answers that you can't get some answers. So that's when you go to spirituality, because it's much more like, it's
so, the holistic approach.
Exactly. So I think like it's like being positive, but with more resources and more explanation, answers. How do you add the spirituality in treatment? Like if you are helping a solopreneur, how do you add, because you balance really well both things, and it's really cool. I know it's different from each person, but do you have like a common line that you're kind of looking for, or how do you create this package? I don't know.
So this is a very interesting question, Rod, and sometimes I don't even know the answer to that. I walk with spirit every moment of every day. I have a team. I fully trust them, and they guide me.
They guide you.
They guide me. Now, also, we are building on the, what is it called? The principle of knowledge. And in order to listen to spirit, you also have to have knowledge. So the more you know...
Translate those inspirations.
Yes, exactly. Okay. So that doesn't mean that it's all intuitive knowledge. A lot of it is intuitive knowledge. A lot of it is downloaded as I'm sitting with you, connecting with your soul. I have the knowledge of coaching principles. I've worked as an employment counselor for 10 years plus, so I have a solid background in helping people, especially within the career field. And then I have my spiritual training, and the combination of those two just guides me in the moment. But of course, I'm always reading up on psychology. I am always reading up on other things to do with solo entrepreneurs, and I'm always interested in learning things that enhance my knowledge so I can better understand the spiritual information coming through.
That's beautiful. I love that approach, and I think that would be, for some people, they it's an option, but I think this option is much more sophisticated. It can really help, fill all the blanks. I was really impressed. I really like it. My experience, has been amazing, and I think what we need to do now as solopreneurs is understand that we can mindset, emotions, positivity. This can turn you from a winner or a loser depending on the way you're thinking. And you need help to change that mindset. You need help to change your emotional state. And that's why I think people like you are so important in our society these days. And I think people are getting more, aware, because some questions, they can't get the answers for some questions. So they kind of go, and I like science as well. But since science is really hard to treat, to have a therapy, a science therapy. So you know what I mean? So
love it, Rod. Love it, Rod. I just want to address that. What I always say is that yesterday's magic is today's science. So does that mean that today's magic is tomorrow's science? What I'm doing just a piece of science. Now, I believe that there's more to it, but I do also believe that the more scientific work is done and the more studies they do, they will understand the spirituality more.
Yes.
So I
like that the science is trying to kind of like prove. For people that are listening, they're struggling now. They're feeling like shit. They're super bad. I mean, and they believe in that idea, but they don't feel like, oh man, I don't know if I can make it. What do you recommend them to do? Like, you have a top 3 things to kind of like calm down.
Yes. Breathe. Number 1, no matter where you are, what's happening, breathe. And I mean full breath. If you've taken a yoga class anytime, you learn the full breath. The full breath, always go back to the full breath. As you breathe, your body will relax. Okay. Scientifically, we know that it calms the nervous system. It calms
heartbeat and stuff,
all
right?
of that. Now, also when you breathe and you hold it, you can feel the light within you that I call soul. Wake up. And your soul just loves existing. So as you are calming your body, which is driven to move forward and driven to make money and driven to, succeed. And if you just stop, breathe, awakens the soul, you get a little more balance.
It's like light. It's like
power. It's the light.
I'm a superhero power, right?
I do a lot of exercises, breathing exercises, where it's really about awakening your soul, finding out what your soul really wants in the moment. Your brain might be focused on, I need to nail that client. I need to make that much money. I need to do this. But as you awaken your soul, you might find that your soul just, I want to help. I want to, do this the right way. And you get a little more balance in your perspective. And when you get a little more balance in your perspective, you can look at a situation and you can move forward with not just hyper focus and hyperventilation, hyper focused on that need. Because when we push a need too hard, we almost block ourselves.
Yes.
I am a big believer in the 80-20 principle. Set intentions, set focus, set goals. Work your butt off for it, but allow 20% flow.
Yeah.
Allow spirit to come in to help you. Allow that. Because if it's the only thing you're focused on, you can almost be your own stumbling block.
Yes.
So flow is a real important, but going back to the 3 top, so breath is one. Setting intentions and goals.
That's so important,
It's so important, but setting them realistically. Now, if you, let's say that you have a business that brings in about $2,000 a week. That's a great number for a solo entrepreneur at this time, if they don't have a lot of expenses. But let's say that you want to bring in $10,000 a week. You need to go, and it might be realistic when you look at the paper, when you look at the market, when you look at all of these things, which you have to look at. Is your pricing right? All of these things come in, of course.
Yeah.
Yes. However, you need to go and sit with yourself and see, do I believe that that is realistic in my business right now? And then you need to understand that if your soul does not believe it's realistic for you, that you are not capable of doing that at this moment,
you're not going to achieve that.
You're not going to achieve it, and you're going to be hitting your soul. Go and find the number.
Yeah.
Go and find it. So, okay, so your soul goes and look at the numbers and goes, I can make $5,000 a week the next 3 months. Okay.
If you believe in that?
You believe in it. And then you put all your intention into practice, and then you go out and do it. And of course, you don't stay there. When you have proven to yourself that you're making the $5,000, let's say you've done it for a week now. No, for 4 weeks now. Then you go back in and say, okay, I've done this. Let's see where do I feel? Can I stretch to 7? Can I move that? And you set these increments.
Yeah.
Because what you don't want to do is to set a huge goal. And that's also basic coaching principle, setting the, and then you do the rubber band you jump there and you just fall straight back and you totally feel deflated.
I think like you have to do like a little bit of marketing research.
Yeah.
And just like color code your calendar to understand where you have like like blank spots. You have like time to work extra hard to get to that goal. Number two.
That was number two, and then number three. Have some spiritual routines.
Spiritual routines.
Yes. Daily spiritual routines. Very important because it keeps you in touch with yourself. Okay. Now, a lot of people do meditation in the morning. Great spiritual connection with yourself. Set yourself up for the day. Boom, we're off to go.
Yeah.
It could be...
you can attach that to the breathing kind of exercise too.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
And combine...
Yes, but the breathing should be done anytime things are throughout the day. You should be checking in on the breathing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So thank you for that, because that's, anytime, and I see that with my clients when we're working on some deep emotional root of any problem, and I just look and say, you're not breathing.
Like 10 seconds, right? Like between like problems.
Yes. So, but I see people sitting here in my sofa where you're sitting now, and we're dwelling in, and we're taking a spiritual approach on resolving and releasing problems that are holding you back. And it's quite interesting when we do that. And I know we're getting a little off track, but when we're going into, let's say we're looking at some childhood problem, but that goes into a core belief, and when we solve the core belief and suddenly the money is just rolling in, and you might not see that correlation between that core belief from childhood and the money that you're trying to make today, but once the knot is untied, you just go, okay, now I see how that, now I see that. But what I wanted to say is that, I see very often when we're coming into those struggles, people just stop breathing. Then you're forgetting your light, and then that light doesn't become a part of your problem solving.
So that's when
and
the
releasing. Okay. So that's where the breathing comes. But then it is that 2, and for 3, we are looking at spiritual routines. Sitting in the power, which means sitting with spirit, meditation. There's a difference. I'm not going to get into that today. Okay, but and also affirmations. I mean, affirmations there's a lot of beliefs around affirmations out there, and there's a scientific approach to it. There's a spiritual approach to it, but there's also a lot of false news around affirmation out there, and there are certain ways that they are more effective. It's
I think just like hypnotherapy, which I know, and I've been following one of my clients. They specialize in this, and it's work. You have to have the right words, the right approach, and of course practice helps a lot, right, Joy?
Absolutely.
I think there will be a time that like meditate or sit on spirit, like just powered up, would be such a natural, like routine. That would be like, oh yeah, have breakfast, or meditate, take a bath, and have breakfast. Just like a bath, like take your clothes, you turn.
Bath can be a very spiritual experience.
Yeah.
Yes,
and I think that this ritual is getting more and more, like in our culture, all over the world. Like meditation is a big part, but. Do you have? Of course, people can check your website for tips or things like that. But if whatever you are using, you just have to remind yourself you are powerful.
Absolutely.
Just remind your superpowers every day in the morning. Just like you're cleaning up your body, you're just cleaning up your like the dust on your like beliefs. Let's say your confidence, and shining your confidence, right?
So when it comes to this affirmation, just let me quickly talk about law of attraction and all of these things.
Okay.
So there's a lot of talk about law of attraction, how you just set your affirmation and it's come, and all you have to do is to visualize it. All you have to do is to make a vision board. I'm a big believer in vision board, but I know that there needs to be more alignment within your body, soul. The 4 pillars of health, they all need to come together to align in that vision board. And the same with the affirmation. You cannot just say, and it's also the belief system. Let's say that you want to be more powerful, but you feel not very powerful. Every morning just saying, I'm powerful, and looking in the mirror, but not believing it, then that's not the right affirmation for you.
Okay.
Then you might go and say, look at yourself and say, okay, I'm in the progress of becoming more powerful. Because you might be able to believe that. You might believe that, yes, that progress is happening within me. Mm-hmm. And then you can align your feelings with the vision and the feelings. And when I talk about feelings, think about spirit. If you think about the universe as a place where you can place an order for what you want. And that's what law of attraction really is. It's about magnetism, okay? I attract the order I put out, okay?
I like that.
Yes. So, you have to learn to work with your own magnetic field, and that's what the affirmations are and the intentions. But let's say that this universe doesn't just respond to your brain thought. It responds to the vibration of your body. It responds to vibration of every organ within your body. It responds to your knees, your toes, whatever emotions. And we know also that traumatic events, sit in the bodies. And so you have to work on all of these things. It's not just good enough to say, I'm powerful. Now, writing it down will help because it activates certain areas in your brain. That makes you more focused on the goal. So that's why writing things on the computer are not as good as writing them by pen and paper.
Yeah.
That's the science behind it, okay? You might call it magic, but there's some science behind that. Some neuroscience have proven that. But it is, you need to align yourself. And what I say in my affirmation work is that, okay, I might have taken affirmations from this quote, but then I work with them for a month, and then I say, okay, they don't hold my vibration. Then I rewrite them for myself, okay, so they hold my vibration or what I'm trying to achieve. And then as I'm saying them, I might feel blockage. I might understand that, hey, there's something here. What is it that is blocking? There's a great way of also understanding yourself. And then
I like that. Like you are rewriting just adapting the exercise to you.
Yes.
It's like your body. Like if you see an exercise that's like needs too much stretch or something, and your body is not used to that. You just like change a little bit, right?
Yeah.
You don't go that far, right?
Yes, the roller coaster, you got to move with it. You cannot just, you have to adapt to it. So sometimes you just rewrite the affirmation. Other times you have to go in and look at the emotional blockage around it because you might just have discovered something that you had forgotten about yourself. And by moving through that, you clear it. And then that affirmation can go into full alignment and take more effect.
So that's the key, I think, it's to actually understand that everybody's different and you can adapt things and you can, and sometimes you just need help, right? I think, like, of course you have priorities and, like, there's things that you want to push, but if you're doing an exercise, you compare this as a personal training.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're doing exercise and we're doing, like, slightly wrong and you are not getting the muscles because of that. And then you go to a personal trainer. So why is personal training help? Because it like help you to optimize the time that you were working, the time that you were practicing that.
They can pinpoint the areas needing work. They can help you see those, and they can help you focus on where you need to work
and speed up the process a lot.
Yes, exactly.
And that's what I think. If you feel that it's time to speed up, you are working in other areas, and now you want to prioritize your superpower, your inner strength. I think that's the time to contact you. I think that's. Do you have any like to wrap up? Do you have any final thoughts on?
I just want to say I like what you just said there, that if you want to speed up the process, contact an expert in any field.
Yes.
Yeah, and that goes for this field as well. I love that. And yes, I wanted to give you 3A. We have 1, we have 2, we have 3. Now, I guess it's 3B, really,
Yeah.
isn't it? Then I would say, when you're scared, acknowledge it. If you have an event, if you have something that you're afraid of, don't push the fear down, because it is still there. And emotionally, it goes back to that law of attraction. You're still holding the vibration of that fear. I personally just say to myself, well, I am scared shitless, and I can do it.
Yes, it's a different
And I
approach.
will
like
do
that.
it. But by saying these things, I acknowledge the fear, I release some of that pressure. And I might have to say it many, many times to release it fully. But it helps me get going. I acknowledge the fear. It's not that I'm going to stop doing it, but I just bring it up so it can be released, so I'm not attracting in that vibration. I want to release that so I can track the success that I want.
I like that. Wow, that's awesome, Joy. Thank you so much. If you want to check Joy out, go to joywisdom.ca. That's her website. Thank you so much, Joy. I hope people feel like, if they're overwhelmed, they feel like they have a solution. There is a way. There is hope.
There is always a way.
Yeah.
There is always a way.
Yeah.
And you always have a choice. Now, the choices aren't always the greatest, but there's always a choice. And when you commit to your choice, you take ownership on all levels, also spiritually, and you can move forward in joy.
Enjoy.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Joy.
You're welcome.
Thank you for listening to this podcast. I'm proud. I'm super passionate about it. Share if you like. And see you next week.